Hey everyone, and welcome back to OK Single. I'm Mike, and I'm glad you're here. First thing that I kind of want to talk about, really, I don't know that it has anything to do about being single, but it has everything to do about my past week. As I've kind of mentioned before on the website and on here, I had a bypass surgery in February 7th of this year. And in the 1st of April, my daughter was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And Thursday, she had her thyroid taken out. And she's having a pretty rough time, just a lot of pain. I think she gets her tubes and that out tomorrow. So what I have been doing since Thursday is stepping in as pawpaw duties. So Thursday, I got to take the kids to school. I got to pick the kids up. They stayed all night Thursday. Friday, they went home with some friends. And then Saturday morning, met them all back at the school, and they both had volleyball games. And then Saturday, what did we do? Oh, Saturday, we went to the mall. Walked around, no buying things. And I will tell you that I think the best part about this past week was those moments. Today we went to church, and usually when they say, okay, everybody, let's pray, I kind of bend down, I put my head down. I don't know what you all do. But my grandson was with me today. And like I've said, my grandson is more man than me. He had his boots on this morning. He had his hat on. And before I told him that, I said, now remember, when you pray, take your hat off. And I looked over when everybody was praying. He took his hat off, bending down, and he was praying. That was amazing. So, again, has nothing about being single. Were there times when it would help if I had a partner and could share some responsibilities? I guess so. But there were so many moments in between there that really I would have missed out on. Like laying with my grandson to go to sleep, and then my granddaughter coming in and saying, Papa, can you sit with me? Those are moments that a lot of people don't get, and I got that. So I'm certainly grateful for that. Also this week, I had this realization that with OK Single, now I'm on to OK Single, of what I wanted to do with OK Single. And that was, I keep on talking about building the community. But I did put a price on it. And I think I told you all, it was hard, big decision for me to even put a price on that. And so basically what I did was take that price off. Now it's all a free membership website. Just go to oksingle.com, sign up, and you get you have access to all the groups, you have access to all the blogs, and you have access to the growth store. Now, in the growth store, it is a store, so things do have a price there. But I didn't put anything in there that I haven't used myself. Didn't put anything in there that didn't keep me on track to where I am today. Now, outside of the heart bypass, I'm doing pretty good. I'm not, I don't struggle or anything, and I have a more clear mind than probably I ever have. Now, next week, I have more pawpaw duties, and then the next week after that, I go back to work. So check in with me on that. So about clarity and going back to work, I have a lot of mixed ideas. But The big news is that OK Single is free outside of the tools. It is free. I really want to build a community of men, of women, of all ages. I think primarily, like when I do my research on different things, it talks about the older adults, me, people in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And that might be our demographic that we're looking at. But really, I think when I look at the younger generation and I look at the older generation, I think we could learn from each other. And wouldn't it be great if we did have all this conversations with people in their 20s and 30s, and the people who are choosing the single life as opposed to maybe getting married because their friends are getting married, or they just got a divorce, or they're widowed, or anything. So just imagine this community of growing and being there for one another. I had to move some things around a little bit because I did some research, and I wanted to talk about how to be okay with being single. And it reminded me basically of why I called it OK Single. And maybe I've talked about this before, I called it OK Single because there's days when you're just okay, and there's days when you're lonely, when you're sitting at home, you have nothing to do, and your mind just won't turn off, and you're thinking about yourself and thinking about your friends and their family or their spouses. So I did some research, so I'm going to look over here. And the interesting part is the first thing that I found was being married doesn't guarantee you won't be lonely. But statistically, marriage does reduce the odds. Now, it kind of goes into about the partner that you're with and the job and stress and things like that. I'm not really going to talk about it, but about that. But single versus unmarried adults, 45 to 65% report some level of loneliness. Married adults, 20 to 40% report loneliness. In most studies, single people are about 1.5 times to 2 times more likely to feel lonely. Single, never married, divorced, widowed, all that. What shows up consistently is higher rates of daily loneliness, lack of emotional support, feeling no one has my back. And for me, that's where friends and that bond come in. I have a wide range of friends. I will tell you right now, I think for all of my life, my best friend is probably my Aunt Kathy. And she'll be 72 this year. And just, I come from a big family. I have 9 aunts and uncles, that was on my mom's side. And my aunt was probably in the age category of most of my cousins. Like, I'm 59, she's 72. So we kind of, I don't want to say grew up together, but we kind of grew up together. She was the one that my brother and I went to. She was the one that I went to. And still to this day, like when I had my heart bypass surgery, she's one who just kind of stays in the hometown, doesn't leave, doesn't drive a whole lot. But she came down to see me. Amazing. But a lot of my family did. A lot of cousins and that did. I'm very appreciative on that. But I'm excited to go visit her. I'm going to go visit her at the end of May. And it's just, she's a part of my life. She's been there. But then I have my kids, my daughter, who has been there, was there all my surgery. Amazing, I try to have that fine line of calling my kids my friends, but I will tell you that my parents, my brother passed away, and after my brother passed away, my friends or my parents were my friends. There wasn't anything that I didn't tell them, especially my mom. Yes, I'm a mama's boy. So when I had my kids, I was a stay-at-home father. That was an amazing benefit in my life and blessing. So we do have that bond that a lot of people don't have. So they are a part of my friendship group. But I do have another series of friends that these are the guys that we tell everything, you know. We're going out for pizza tomorrow night, you know. So again, maybe pizza probably isn't the best thing, but for a heart bypass surgery survivor, but that's what we're doing. So anyhow, so I think the difference is that friendship category. And do you just sit in your house and feel sorry for yourself, or do you get out and go for a walk? Do you get out, and if church isn't your thing, don't go to church. But there's so many other things that you could do. I live in a town of probably 60,000, 70,000, and really there's not a whole lot to do in the grand scheme of things. That's why I'm always going for a walk. But if I got out there and like really searched, there's things that I could do. There's art classes, there's side groups that I can take. You know, I work for a university. There's things on the university that I could reach out and go to. So there's things that I could do, but there's many nights when I do just choose to sit at home. And I think that's when that loneliness sets in. And that's why I go back to, I'm wanting to build this community. You know, I want to build this community so we can encourage and empower others, because maybe you don't have a whole lot of friends, or maybe parts of your story you think that you shouldn't tell your, say, work friends or your friends that, you know, are live and in person, but you could share with someone online. I get that. I think we all have parts of our life that maybe we don't want to talk about, and we're free to talk about it online. So, but that's a whole part about being single and okay single, building that community. So a rough breakdown, it says 25 to 30% of single adults say they feel lonely often or always. Even higher for divorced or people living alone. And it says, why? No partner. Fewer built-in daily conversations, less physical touch, smaller support systems, social circles shrinking over time. If we're aging, you know, I've lost friends even at my age. And, you know, while most people think 59 is old, really it's not old. You know, there's a lot of other people older than me. But so get out there and just go for a walk and just don't quit. I think sitting at home kind of defines where your life is going, and there's more out there. Your life doesn't end after divorce. Your life doesn't end after a partner passes away. Your life doesn't end just because you're single. You know, we are okay single. And what we're trying to do here, what I'm trying to do here, is not for us to wait and see for that partner to come along to complete us, but to see that we're already whole and complete on our own. We just have to see it. We just have to understand it. So remember, you are empowered, you are complete, and you are okay single. I'm Mike, and this is Okay Single. thank you for joining me, and come back next week. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. And go to the free membership website, oksingle.com. Have a great week.